Hey everybody, Jason from the Glitter Guy here again, and I have another DIY craft for you guys. So I was trying to think of something that would be fun, that's not just like the same. Originally I was like, all right, something that I've struggled with a bunch is how to make a mold. Chris came up with the idea of doing something more that would be like a lamp, and I was like, okay, let's kind of run with that idea a little bit. I want to make a geometric resin lamp. What I figured would be kind of like aesthetically pleasing, right, would be if we started with like a wood base, and then I thought that a cube would be really cool as a base. So a sphere would be cool in the middle, and then I wanted to top the whole thing off with a pyramid. That's why I have all these shapes here. If you guys notice though, what I don't have in front of me is anything round. I'm gonna go actually to the craft store and grab a couple more supplies, and I was just gonna kind of poke around and see if there's anything that I can think of that I can use and almost like MacGyver for the centerpiece. So also, well, I thought that this should be hollow and lighter so that we can put string lights inside of it. One of the other options that I thought was we're gonna make little baby molds, and I just cut enough pieces so that we could save enough time so that I can make each face individually. Obviously I could have saved material and I could have saved a lot of work if I just did one square and one triangle. Because what we're gonna need is for the cube 6 faces, so I would have had to do this mold 6 times, and I would have had to actually do it a 7th time to do the base for the pyramid. 7 squares, 3 triangles. Like I said, we're gonna figure out the circle later. Now for structure, my plan is to do a 1/4-inch PVC pipe straight through the center to hold everything up. We're gonna screw that or screw and epoxy that into the wooden base. It will also allow the wiring for the string lights to go through. So we'll feed the lights through the bottom, we'll have the plug out, and then I'm gonna drill a hole in the PVC where it enters each shape, and I'll pull some of that string light through so that we have some light in there, some light in there, and some light in here. Like I said, if the circle doesn't end up being glass or hollow, if I have to use like maybe a foam ball or something, then obviously the center won't light up, but I think that we'll still get a really nice aesthetic. I know that was the world's longest intro, but without further ado, I really want to get started on this. So the first thing that we're going to need is obviously our pieces for the form. You can cut this by hand out of wood. You can very easily, it's a square. This is a 6-inch by 6-inch square. Take a ruler, take a pencil. I'm lazier than that. I have a glow forge, so I made a 6-inch square in my glow forge, and I use this on proof grade material. So that's what we use for this. Triangle, same thing. This is a 6-inch equilateral triangle. What's going to end up happening is we should be able to make ourselves a pyramid when we're all done. I'm short a triangle. I'll go back and cut another. And then our cube, same thing. So the first thing that we want to do is use some sort of covering on your material to take the porousness out of it. You can make forms out of melamine. Melamine is non-porous, but something that you can use just on any plain old wood is tuck tape or sheathing tape. It's non-porous tape. That's why it works. You can find it on Amazon, hardware stores. Very easy. So you just want to line whatever you're using for your form in the tuck tape or the sheathing tape. And this gives you a nice, smooth, flat surface. That is exactly why epoxy does not stick to silicone or silicone mats, non-porous material. I'm gonna work at getting all of these covered. So we have all of our pieces wrapped. Only did the top part. That's all that should really matter because it's the only part that epoxy should cover. But normally if you're making a form or a mold, you obviously want to have walls to it. This, I don't plan on it being extra thick, and the surface area that we're pouring on is very small. I'm not as worried about that happening. So I only plan on just doing a tape edge around this. It's not going to be very tall, so we don't need it to be super high up. It does not need to be wildly perfect. This is such a small project, at least each side is such a small project that, like I said, it's not like overly imperative. You just really want to have an edge taped around so that it just doesn't pour out. That's all. Make a lip around each of these, and then I'll get back with you guys in a minute. We did it! I got one left. And then we are going to actually start mixing some epoxy here. And hopefully Chris has enough camera left. And we are going to get our epoxy mixed. I'm going to pour, like I said, I don't want these to be crazy thick. I don't want them crazy thin either. I don't want it too fragile, but we will get it going. And after an hour, I'm gonna allow the epoxy to kind of gel a little bit, and that's when I'm gonna start using some of the inks. I don't have a Sinker White with me. You can get a lot of cooler effects when it comes to using Sinker Whites and alcohol inks. I'm definitely going to be making a lot more in-depth resin tutorials with like techniques and stuff that you can do later on. But for now, we're just gonna have like a little bit of fun when we get to that point. So let's get our epoxy mix and get some stuff poured. Okay, so we have 10 poured molds. We should have 11. Next time you look at a picture that has this, there will be another one, I promise. I'm gonna let this set up a little bit. Like I said, it's gonna gel, give it about an hour. We're gonna come back. We're gonna add a little bit of alcohol ink to it, do a little swirly stuff, add some cool designs, and yeah, I'll see you guys then. All right, so it's been, I think it's been a little over an hour. What we're gonna do is a technique, not the technique that I wanted to originally. I wanted to take these alcohol inks that I have, and I chose actually all neon ones. These are all Marabou's. This is neon yellow, neon orange, neon pink, and neon blue. I have white here. I actually need to swap this out because I want to use deep white. But what I initially wanted to do was I wanted to tint little cups of resin, each color, and I wanted to do a little dot in each all over the place, and then we would have backed that up with a white dot behind it, and then after we waited this hour, we would have swirled it on, would have had some really cool like swirly patterns and stuff. Alas, I missed steps. Everything's fine. We're just gonna take the ink still and just kind of have some fun with this. So I'm gonna put little bits of circles in there, kind of let it spread a little bit. We have the heat gun to kind of agitate it some if we need to. And then I have a little pokey tool here. I know it looks like a pen, but it's not. This is Sharp, and we'll use that to draw some designs. Also as a backup plan, because I don't have any toothpicks, I took one of Sarah's little squeezy bottles because it has a metal precision tip. Yeah, we're gonna let these all cure. My lights are coming from Amazon, so they'll be here in the morning. I will fabricate a wood base or find one at Michael's because I have to go there to figure out what we're gonna put in the middle here, and then we'll be like ready to put this thing together. All right, so we are back. It's the next morning, and I went and touched all of these guys. They're all cured. My lights came overnight. They were here actually before I left yesterday. I had some more thinking and a little bit more pivoting. One, just time constraint for me. I didn't get a chance to go to Michael's and like see what I could find for an orb. Orb is gone, right? Something else that I did off camera, I made the base. The base is 6 inches by 6 inches. This is 3/4 inch MDF. Right here, I love MDF. I mean, it sands so nice, it paints so well. I'm kind of wishing that I ordered black light strings now because I'm gonna put these on because this thing will blind you. Look at that. The neon lights are like wildly UV reactive and look like awesome little like petri dishes. I think that's a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but either way, it should still look really cool. I got my Dremel out. I want to notch myself a little square in the center. It's what I thought would be best for doing this. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna get the assembly process going, and I think it's gonna be really cool. You know what, let's demold first. I know I keep grabbing stuff, but I wanna demold. So it's still a little soft and bendy, but it should still do what we need it to do. One. Okay, so like 100 hours later, and these are all demolded. Some are soft, some are medium soft, none are perfectly hard. I know it's 100% me. I messed up on mixing some. I used the same mixing apparatus. I mixed way too fast because I knew I had to do multiple batches. But listen, this is my land, so I don't care. Do care. Anyway, we're gonna figure it out as we go, like we've been doing. I went 6 inches for my base. It's a heavy base, and these things weigh absolutely nothing, so I'm not worried about any weight like of toppling over or anything. Also next to me, I have little feet with push pins. You can get these guys on Amazon. The feet, I figure, we'll end up hammering them into the bottom. That'll give us a little height so that when I end up drilling through, we can just glue this switch to them. In order to get my diagonal effect that I'm looking for, I think I need to route myself a little hole, or Dremel myself, I guess, a little hole here. And we want it to be inset like a square down just a bit, so this can kind of just like nest in there and want to stay. We should make our cube first, right? And with that, with the light, what we want to do is make sure that the light first exists inside each of the shapes. So I'm going to kind of split the amount of light that we have in two. And I'll have links to everything below that I'm using here. I'm just going to literally pinch it in between when I close this thing up. So we need a little bit of space to be able to get through here so that we can glue it on the bottom. So let's call this about good. I want it down near a bottom portion. And I know I should absolutely clean up all my edges. I should sand all this down. I should do all of these things. I'm not going to. We're going to pinch that right in there. We're going to put UV resin, and then we're going to seal as we go with our big old Megalite. Less talk, more do. We're going to do this on top of the silicone mat because our edges are not perfect. I'm absolutely going to have drips in between my seam, but if it's on the silicone mat, I should be able to separate it. No problemo. I did go back and make my extra triangle afterwards that I was short on. I don't like this pyramid anymore, guys. I used to like it, now I don't like it anymore. Forget about the pyramid. I'm not absolutely sure if it's a closed circuit. Can I just cut this? Boom!
There you go.
Our 3-tier lamp is now a 1-tier lamp. This is fine. Let's get this thing mounted in here. Dremel, probably put safety glasses back on. I did bring my square. I did bring a pencil because the plan is to find center. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I didn't feed the light through the hole first, so now I'm not going to be able to get this through there. All right. I just need to be able to break away all that material now that I just loosened up. All right, guys, I'm maybe done burning stuff for the moment. All right, we got a hole and a mess. Is the hole big enough? And now that I'm thinking about it, it is not a square that it needed to sit in, it needed a triangle. I think I can literally just fill that gap with epoxy.
Okay.
Now let's move this thing. Man. I'm gonna fill that in with regular resin. I was gonna use UV resin, it's too deep. UV resin, not meant to be cured in super deep layers. Like if I was gonna do it, I'd have to put like a little bit, cure it, a little bit, cure it, a little bit, cure it. I'm gonna put a little bit of a tint. in order to get like the same effect that I got with my dots of ink in the sides, I think I kind of have to let it sit a little bit. We're gonna let this thing dry. It's gonna take a little bit, so. Alright guys, so it's the next day again. Everything is all cured up. What I did when I first got in was I just went in and any of my epoxy that I had underneath that was just like some drips and stuff, I just used my Dremel with the little grindy wheel and I cleaned it up quick. I used a little bit of UV resin to attach our little pack, our little battery pack here. Made sure to attach it the correct way so that I can still open it and change the battery out if the battery ever dies. Does it look like what my original intention was? Not really, but I mean, I love this thing. I keep staring at it and I just really love the way it came out. So obviously I wanted the 3 tiers. We know why we got rid of the circle and then the pyramid, because it was so bendy is why I kind of nixed it originally, but you can see now it's hard, much harder. So I actually went and just grabbed the pyramid before we started this little bit off the floor where I threw it yesterday. And I mean, it also hardened, so it glows. Yeah, let's turn the lights off. None of the techniques ended up being what I was originally intending. Not even the drips, not any of it. But I mean, the end result, I love it so much. I love how organic everything looks. I meant for everything to look very precise and mathematic, and we got the exact opposite. And I honestly love it for it, so. So, if not for nothing, I hope that this video shows you guys to just like persevere through your ideas. Even if it doesn't end up with exactly what you were hoping for in the beginning, you can end up with something that you absolutely still love in the end. And that's what I ended up with here. So don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, hit all the buttons down below, and look forward to a lot more videos of me trying to figure stuff out.